Welcome to the Kingdom Sleeps, the fantasy bedtime story decided by the roll of a dice. Tonight, we once again rejoin the tale of Yohm as he journeys deeper into the heart of Ludock's cave. Today's episode art was produced by John Mertens, and today's music was produced by Dominik Kalajdzic.
And as ever, we'd like to say a very special thank you to those of you who are supporting us on Patreon. If anyone else would like to join, it'd be really appreciated. But if you can't afford to join us on Patreon, or you want to choose to spend your money elsewhere, please just do support us in any way possible. Like the video, share it with your friends, follow any of the links below. It really helps.
And with that, close your eyes, make yourselves comfortable, and join us where the kingdom sleeps. You find yourself lost now, in an inky blackness that feels very close to your being. It is almost suffocating in its presence as you are wading through a void. But slowly and surely, your vision returns to you, blurred and fragmented though it is. And slowly but surely, the smell of burning desert wood comes to your nostrils. The sound of a crackling campfire off in the distance. You can feel the desert wind scraping across your face with the particles of coarse sand that rub up against your cheek. And you find yourself now stood in not just a familiar place, but a familiar time, a familiar moment from your past. You are crouched behind a large desert boulder, and in front of you, some 20 or 30 feet off, is the rough and ready makeshift encampment of the ne'er-do-wells who had the audacity to steal your hound back from under your nose. And they sit somewhat somberly around the fire as next to them, in a wagon made of this material, cactus bamboo, this thick, purple, wooden-like beams that form a cage around your hound back and have sharp, pointy needles on the inside so as to restrict its movement. As you sit crouched, watchfully, keeping an eye on the movements of these bandits. It would be your now 5th attempt to recapture your hound pack. And you are in a position of weariness, but at the same time resoluteness. Bringing yourself back to that moment. What now seems like the distant past for Yohm. Tell us about where he is. Not just in his life, at this time, but in this moment. How he feels about being back here.
A strong mix of pride and anger. This rising frustration as the weight of, back then at least, so many new responsibilities bearing down on his shoulders. Not seeing any other way out of this situation but to reclaim that which was taken. It's been a long night and a long season, and the first one he spent mostly alone. Earned his first few marks and learned a lot of lessons. And for it to be punctuated on one fateful night by an incident like this is angering, to say the least. And we've tried almost every trick in our wheelhouse to figure this out. My words failed. We tried guile, but they were too savvy, and they caught us and threw us right back out. We tried a little bit of trickery, enlisting the help of some nearby Mamu and the minor lessons of alchemy we've taken in the past, combining bits of herb to try and make some sort of pungent odour, but nonetheless these unsavoury folk are just determined to drink their beer and eat their food, all to the quiet soundtrack of whimpering from that cage. And there's not much night left, and I know come the morning they will leave, and so does every chance I have of independence. But they must be tired too, and they do not need this as much as I do. So we will find a way, even if we have to drag ourselves, beaten and bloody, across these sands, to follow them. They are not getting away with this.
And not just tired in this moment, but you begin to realize these three rather burly monstrum gentlemen are also beginning to get quite inebriated around the campfire. So you hear one of them call out, "Oi, quit hogging that beer, would ya?" And you see one of the others begrudgingly stumbling over and handing over this large leather skin flask to the one sat by the fire, as he tips it up to the sky and glugs it down, and then takes a ripping bite out of the maphile leg that he'd just cooked over the fire.
I know what I've got to do. It's not much, it's hardly a potion, but somehow get them to drink this, and I'll knock them out for at least a minute. Enough time to open the cage and to get gone. I just need to slip them this flask somehow. So we're going to wait. We're going to watch. We're going to find our moment. do it. We'll do it. And he grips this haggard old water skin filled with just a little bit of water left, really, and a whole lot of runoff and paste from a bunch of his supplies that, if he's lucky, might come together enough to have a strong enough effect to make him feel a bit sleepy, or at the very least maybe need to run off to relieve themselves. Anything to just give him just a moment at that cage.
In this moment, having concocted your potion, waiting for that right moment to come, first I'd like you to roll an Arcana check for the success of your potion.
And that's going to be a 2.
Okay, great. You're waiting some moments longer, but not too long, before you hear an almighty roar from one of the men sat by the campfire. Now, it's not an angry roar, it's almost one of bravado and drunkenness as he looks to the sky. Oh, I've got to drain the desert lizard. Keep an eye out, boys. And he looks to his 2 men who are stooped over the fire also, and seem to be paying him not very much attention. And as he gets himself up from the fire, taking the flask with him, he begins to stumble away from the encampment over towards the rock you hide yourself behind. And slowly but surely, he makes his way not less than 10 feet away from your position. Now, you are still hidden in shadow, away from the flickering fire, concealed. But he drops his flask on the ground and begins to relieve himself against the rock.
From your feet. 3. He steals himself with one more breath and, on all fours, staying nice and low, crawling like a child from behind the rock, past the foul smell coming from this monstrum. And he quickly and quietly places his flask on the floor, whilst looking up at the giant of a man before him, slides the other one into his robe and gently crawls around his back to try and take the shadows once more.
I'd like you to roll me a stealth for this action, please.
That'll be a particularly dirty 20.
And very fitting it is. As someone who, even in his short time now in the desert, has learned very well to be quick and quiet when he needs to be. You crawl around this monstrum, swapping out the flasks, managing once again to conceal yourself. And just in the nick of time, the monstrum replaces his loincloth and robe, hitches up his trousers and picks up the flask at his side, stumbling back over to the encampment, and you can watch as he does, tipping this concoction to the sky into his mouth, glugging down, seeming to pay not very much notice to the very slight difference in leather skin from his previous vial. And as he glugs it down, you can see him begin to smack his lips. Oi, boys! And you can see at this sharp addressal, the two men look up to him. "See, this tastes like sweet root to you?" And you can see one of them raise his hands up. "Come on, give it here then. Let's have a go." All right. Glug, glug. Yeah. Well, I suppose it does. Never noticed that before. I don't know. As long as it gets me drunk, eh? And the other one snatches it from his hand as he begins to laugh, glugging it down as well. They continue to mumble and roar and laugh and gnaw on their meat until it gets to the bone. And you're there only some minutes until you begin to hear the first gurgling in the stomach of that monstrum who came over towards you. And this gurgling is so audible to you where you are that you know it must be causing him some distress in his stomach as he stands to his feet, almost looks panicked. You can see a gleam in his eyes and his lips pierce as he runs over to the edge of the encampment on the far side, just to the back of his tent, and begins to empty the contents of his stomach. And his two comrades look over to him in shock and begin to slowly get up and wander over. Whoa, mate, you alright? What's going on? Their backs turned.
His heart racing and a small smile enveloping his face and the thought of those pigs getting what they deserve. Now whatever, Yohm. And he gets up, jumps up with all the energy he has left and runs for the back of that cage. He saw it had some sort of fastening on it and looked like rope and wood, nothing complicated. I get to it as quick as I can and just begin unravelling, pulling at the mechanism with everything I've got, peeling it away, paying no mind to the men just off the distance now. It's okay, girl. We're going to get you out of it. It's okay. Just pulling and plying, splintering in my fingers, paying no regard to the thorns on the inside of this cage, just adrenaline-fueled desperation. Always surely going to be his final ploy.
And taking no care for yourself in this reckless abandon, allowing the needles to prick into the bed of your palm as you try and wrestle this fastening off. You need make no check. You, after some time, staring on at your houndback in the cage to try and soothe it with your eyes and your low murmurs, manage to untie the last knot and swing down the opening of this cage. And as you do so, as the door swings in front of you and lands at your feet, inside the cage is not your hound bag. There, standing small in the center, glowing, radiant, is Tonto. He looks at you with a look of pride and joy.
I knew you wouldn't give up. Thank you. Thank you for saving me.
What is a mark, Tonto?
It's a promise, Yohm.
Here it is. And I just collapse. As this world around me, the tint of nostalgia washes away, and the familiar gritty air gets replaced with biting cold again. And I start to remember where I know I should be. Where are we, Tonto? What happened?
A promise, Yohm. A promise. A promise. Yohm.
As again you feel that cold coming back to you, the humid heat of the desert dissipating, and you feel the rocky surface behind your back.
Promise, Yohm. You promised, Yohm. You promised you'd come back, Yohm. Yohm, you promised you would come back from there. Are you awake?
As your eyes begin to open, and you see Tonto just above you, hunched over in desperation, arms at the collar of your cloak.
Yohm, is that you? Are you waking up?
Yeah, Tonto. Yeah, I'm here. I'm okay. And I just take a quick moment. I look around and trying to figure out what's going on, where I am again. Am I still in the cave? What happened?
You find yourself once again inside the large entrance chamber, where you first pulled that heavy cart out of the way to gain access to the lower mines. Now you see as Tonto is hunched over the top of you, there is a small crowd of blue mamu that huddle behind him, onlooking, as Tonto, it seems, had clearly been trying to wake you up for some time, and some way you're unsure of, they have managed to pull you to safety.
Thank you, Tonto. Thank you.
You don't have to thank me, Yohm. Of course, it was our promise. You said, if you call, we would come and get you. And, well, you didn't call. But I heard you. I heard you were in pain.
Yeah, I certainly was. And I sort of hold my breath in a little as I look down towards my leg, remembering, almost as a out-of-body experience, and what I just did to myself some time ago.
As you look down to your leg, you can see this gnarled, cauterized wound running up most of your shin, and the fabric of your cloak around it entirely singed, leaving it exposed, but seemingly smooth now, although extremely tender.
I did something stupid, don't I?
What happened? What happened in there?
Well, some of the matter, it got me. It got me like I...
And you tried to destroy it.
Yeah. I don't know what I was thinking. I thought I had some stronger stuff in me, but always things. But I don't know. It just hurts, and that's good. I think.
I think so. Do you feel strange in any way?
I'm really hot and really cold, and kind of numb, but my leg is on fire. But no.
Okay.
I feel all the things I should be feeling, and a lot of relief. A lot of relief.
I am relieved too, Yohm. I was so scared when you went in there, and when we went to get you, I saw it. Cowering back into the mine. But I saw it. It was hard.
It didn't hurt any of you, did it?
Thankfully not. No. We got away. But we're all safe now.
Yeah. And I look back towards the tunnel where I came from, assuming it's probably completely dark at the moment, but my eyes will linger there for a moment just to see if I can feel anything from down there in that way that I've been trying to shut out a few times in this cave.
Roll me as you channel your focus towards the cave. Roll me wisdom, please.
And 18.
As you look into the darkness, you begin to slowly, like an echo, feel the whispering presence of that dark matter. But you can also feel that it is receding. It does not feel strong in presence.
Whatever we've done, friend. That mass does not like it. It does not like the fire.
Doesn't like fire.
No. Which means we might be able to help go.
Okay. That's good. We learned something.
Yeah. A surge of pain just throbs through his body. Good is one way of putting it. But it's better. And there's something else. And I pat myself down and see if I have that journal of a sort on me still.
You will find the journal inside your satchel as you rummage through it.
And there's more, actually. I forgot, Tonto. Look at this, and I pull it out, and knowing he cannot read, still flick through some pages and show him. This is it's a journal by a guy called Bias, a miner in here in the past. He discovered this matter. I think he was the first. And he frantically just flicks through some of the bits towards the end that he vaguely remembers. He saw something in here. Someone. A Dverga Mamu or something. And I find the page and I begin to read it word for word whilst biting through the pain, using it as a focus of sorts to try and concentrate.
As you begin to read these words and give out that description of this somewhat humanoid-like Mamu, partway before you've even finished, when you have to say Tonto, his eyes light up and he interrupts your speaking.
Yes, Yohm, that must be the friend. When you were down there, I was talking more with my Mamu friends here, and they told me all about this place. I've learned so much more. Yohm, there is a place beneath us, and that is where the friend lives. It is their friend, and he has been helping down there, helping to stop this from happening.
Good. That's good. And someone who might finally be able to help. Okay, how do we get down there? I can't walk through floors, Tonto.
Well, come here, look, if you can. Can you get up?
It's not going to be easy.
I will help.
And he stands as upright as he can. And as he does so, you can see his breath fill him, and he almost becomes very slightly taller, very slightly broader, and the pads of his hands grow slightly. As you can see this little stockier version of Tonto stand tall and extend his arm towards you.
Thank you. As I look up on him, quite possibly for the first literal time. Thank you.
Of course, Yohm. Of course. Come.
And he pulls your arm up with some surprising strength.
Okay, yeah. Nice and easy, man.
Okay, come this way.
And he ushers you over to the centre of this entrance hall, where you will once again see the large circular sigil embedded in the ground. Over top lay the mining cart tracks. and he presents you. He floats over, kneeling himself towards the ground and pointing out the iconography engraved in the center of it.
You can see there are the Mamu here, and they hold hands, and together they will open this door. They say it is the way down.
These Mamu, as I gesture around other ones that were there before, are they following? Do they seem to be into this situation, as it were?
The crab-like blue Mamu that were huddled around you on the floor before have remained where you were and have kept well away from the entrance. They seem to be almost cowering at the edges.
Yes, but they do not want to go down, Yohm.
But didn't you say their friend was there?
Yes, but they tell me that things have changed down below. There is darkness there too. It is affecting the Mamu beneath, and they are afraid that they will be affected too.
I slumped myself sort of on the edge of that minecart. That's not crazy far away from this end of it. Just rest myself for a moment. Looking over to the many small crab-like Mamu in the distance. Well then, Dante, we've got to make some more friends first, haven't we?
I guess so.
Do you think they'll understand me?
We can try. If not, I can help. I will talk for you as you talk for me.
Yeah. So, what do blue Mamu like?
Oh.
I'm good with you yellow ones, but...
Well, we're all different, Mamu. They're very different to me and the pink Mamu. We just love the world and fun and well, the pink Mamu, they are very friendly too. Not to say that the blue Mamu aren't friendly, but they are more, what is the word? Reserved? They like to feel safe, but they're not afraid to do what's right if, it isn't going to be too dangerous for them, I suppose.
Well, I can relate to that. Alright then, how do I look?
Injured.
And then he just remembers. Almost laughing to himself for a moment. I think I've gotten too used to working by myself. And he rummages, looking for his little satchel that he had before, and finds it reaches in. Immediately, even though it's not what he was looking for originally, pulls out that small disc-like plate that he was gifted by a young girl recently. And he just holds it out in one hand for a moment, reaches in somewhere else, finds that cold glass sensation. Thank you. More bars. top, eh? Pops the top. Well, here goes. And glugs down what he's hoping to be a healing potion that Morvas gifted him not long ago.
As you glug down this quite thick, very sort of medicinal tasting liquid from the vial gifted to you by Morvas, you can feel it begin to very softly burn inside of your throat as it goes down. There's this little heady sort of rush that comes with the sensation, but you slowly begin to feel it warm your whole body over, and this sensation moves from your chest into your arms, through to your fingertips, all the way down your legs, your knees, through to the tips of your toes. And you're filled with this beautiful, radiant warmth. And you are able to add a d6 worth of HP.
That'll be a nice extra 2 points of health there.
Which is enough to feel something come across, layer itself over your shins to create just a layer, a veil of numbness that helps you feel more ready to stand on your feet.
Okay, yeah. That was pretty good. Okay. Well, not 100, but better. Better. And I take a little look at that disc before sliding it in. Just pondering on this face, because it is rudimentary, by no means a detailed portrait, but nonetheless it is very clearly depicting some sort of Dverga man. And he just spins it towards Tonto. Could this be our friend? Or someone else?
What makes you say that?
Just one of those feelings. Again.
Huh.
They were around the town a little bit, and Ira told me she found it from, I think, just the entrance to this cave nearabouts.
Oh. Well, we could show it to the Mamu, see if they recognize it.
Maybe it was one of the people who dug the mine, or maybe it's this Ludock. Maybe. We'll see. Well. Oh, okay. Let's go say hi.
Yes, come.
And I nervously take the first few steps, teasing out what the leg feels like, and it definitely still hurts, but it's numbed. It's more of a general sensation now, instead of a piercing, throbbing sensation. Alright, so, hi, Mamu.
As you make your way over slowly, partly out of caution, partly out of injury, the Mamu take very cautious steps themselves, not too far away from the edge of the cave, but just slowly over towards you, seeming to understand that they are being met for a conversation. And Tonto just skips ahead, leading in the fore a little bit.
and says, Yohm would like to talk to you and ask for your help. Yohm, show them.
Basically, I think I need to find this man. And I hold my arm down low towards them, almost in shock at what I'm doing. Still just delighted and scared at any of these interactions I'm having. Becoming slightly more used to them all the time, but still trying to rewrite years of understanding. I think this is your friend from below.
As you present this plate, this sigil to them, they begin to slowly crowd round a little bit more. So there's a little huddle around your palm and arm. And as they gain a little bit more confidence, you see them to sort of bustle between themselves. And as you've seen partially before in the past, they begin to sort of merge their very beings, their bodies into each other. They sort of undulate in form between themselves, sort of very smoothly, almost in a dreamlike visualization, sort of become two crabs joined together, merging into a larger sort of crab, and then you again see some of them transform their heads into these sort of orchid-like points at the top. All of them still sort of huddling and sort of twirling around this sigil, and a few of them begin to use their claws to grab it from your hands. They wish to take it and they begin to pull it away.
I release it freely.
As they do so, it lays on the ground and they huddle around it. And you can see that some of them become very, very small, and then others create these very, very fine little tendrils that begin to sort of sweep and move the sigil around as it sort of rotates on the ground, and you can see them, it looks like they begin to sort of excavate, they begin to scratch the surface of this sigil, and it moves and moves and moves. And then after just a few moments, they part away from the sigil and leave it open on the floor, and they back away, and one single Mamu begins to push it forwards towards your hand once again. And as you look down on the sigil, you'll see that it is now a much more impressively detailed version of the image of this man. But also slightly changed. You can see the features of this Duergar much more clearly, but then there appear to be orchid-like flowers that crown his head. And as Tonto looks to them, looks at the sigil and looks back at you, he says,
Yes, they recognize him. That is their friend. And they say that is what he looks like now.
Half man, half mummy. Pius was right. But which was he first?
I've never seen a half man, half Mamu before.
No. Me neither. I think I maybe heard of one when I was a little sprig. But that's just an old fairy tale. And I look back to the little crabs. And is his name Ludock?
They all begin to sort of bustle among themselves. Again, sort of undulating a little bit so as to sort of change form. And Tonto seems to be furrowing his brow as they do so.
Yes, it is.
And then, well then, what did Ludock call you?
What did Ludock call them? He wants to know what Ludock called you.
Again, they begin to undulate, moving amongst each other, transforming into these more sort of serpent-like, almost dragon-like creatures as they do so. And you can see that their forms begin to radiate a slight bit of confidence in this change. And Tonto looks at them and looks back to you and says, He called them their friends. Their true companions.
Well, my name is Yohm. And I could use some companions right now. I know it's scary, but the only way to make your home yours again is to come down here with me and find Ludock. Together. So what do you say? Huh? Will you come with me? And that arm that was holding a little plate in front of him, this time different than before, where previously a surge of anger and frustration and anxiety, this feeling of being trapped, forced Yohm into himself. This time it's almost the complete opposite. This communion with the Mamu, this just honest and open communication, is it's letting his inner being almost seep out of him. And in just the blink of an eye and a deep breath, his fingers start elongating. His arm starts glowing even stranger than before, and it would undulate and warp, much like the crabs in front of it, into this vine-like, orchid-headed, finger-tipped hand in front of them as it works his way up his arm, around his shoulders, and down by his other, on the bad side of his leg. Those tendrils sort of reach out, almost like a third leg, to help him stand a bit taller in that moment, looking much more Mamu than Mer in this instant, as he'll use a focus point, these arms of the astral self, this time not in violence, but in hope that these Mamu will take this hand and walk along with me.
And immediately, with the sight of this undulating tendril that comes forth from your arm and invites itself to those blue Mamu, these now proud, serpentine, dragon-like creatures begin to migrate towards you. They swarm towards your feet, around your arm. Some move their way up your arm towards your shoulders until you have 1, 2, 3, 4 that sit upon your person as the rest begin to rush past you over towards the sigil on the ground.
Feeling lighter and far more present now. I walk with my head held high into the, I suppose, centre of this larger sigil in the floor. And I stand there, Tonto right next to me. Are you ready?
I'm ready, Yohm. Together.
Together. We look around to the others. Together.
And the two Mamoon on either of your shoulders begin to extend this claw-like hand from the end of their tendril on either side of you, and they open them out, palm down, as it were, looking, inviting you to hold their hands with yours, if you so choose.
Just whilst locking eyes with Tonto, and they truly serene smile. I reach out and feel like I join with them, more than just holding a hand, but connecting, feeling a smaller piece of that much larger something.
And that feeling rushes, tingles through your arms, up through your torso and your entire body as this radiant connection resonates in your soul. You feel a part of this woven fabric that permeates a realm. And you, in that moment, begin to feel wider, broader, larger than just yourself. Roll me a wisdom saving throw, please.
Natural 20 for a total of 22.
The sigil beneath your feet begins to shine. Bright blue light emits from its center and bursts out, completely illuminating the cavern around you, as though you were stood in the open day. And this radiant light from beneath your feet feels almost as if to lift you from the ground. And as you hear this crunching rotation from the floor beneath you, you feel yourself suddenly begin to drop, and this platform plummets you into the ground. You feel a rush as you soar deep, deep underneath where you were just stood. And you move so quickly in this blur of light, you almost feel completely disoriented in what direction you might be moving. For a moment, as you begin to soar downwards, you feel like you might even be soaring upwards. And this swirling chaos of light and Mamoon and spiritual resonance that emits from yourself, but also at the same time seems to be coming forth, streaming within you, comes to a crescendo as you suddenly form, enter into a place that is at once quite familiar and at the same time altogether unlike anything you've seen before. In front of you is what can only be described as a dreamlike, inverted mountainscape. There is a beautiful, crystal-like, pale blue sky beneath your feet, and there are hordes of floating mountains whose peaks drift towards this sky. It is like a field of floating mountainous boulders and a sea of schools of mamu that rush all across the landscape as far as your eye can see. And everything seems to shimmer with this strange iridescence, this ephemeral texture that is immediately evocative of a place you've been before. That place you first met Tonto. And now, as you look upon this unreal landscape, what thoughts form in Yohm's mind?
This is wonderful. This is it. This is everything. Our true world. The dream. The dream of all dreams. Isn't it, Tonto?
It feels like home.
Yeah. Me too. Me too. Wow. Just wow. And moments whiz past. It might be minutes, might be hours. Just stood there in this bright blue sea of sky, feeling it all. Every sense of misbelonging, every urge to push forward, every ponder into that big desert night sky. All of them in my whole life have been looking for this. And now, well now, my friend, I don't know where we go.
I'm sure we'll find our way. We are meant to be here.
Oh yeah. That's true. So, Which way first?